Welcome to the Mountain Cattlemen's Association of Victoria's annual get-together here in Hinnamungi 2014. It's a three-day event full of fun, live music and some serious competition.
Yeah, we're talking about the Cattlemen, you know, like Clancy of the Overflow. He was born in the saddle of a wiry mountain horse, and if we change him, you know it'll be our loss. Yes, the cattlemen that drove the plains on high are Australian through and through until they die. So you office-sitting cockies better have another think. Too late, and another Aussie legend is extinct.
So Charlie, what's the main reason for having these gatherings every year?
Well, it's Hinnamungi's or the Omeo branch's turn to celebrate the history, heritage and culture of the mountain cattlemen. And it's a thing we hold dear to our heart. And my job as the president is to make sure that we don't lose that. We are a living history. We've got the knowledge of the high country and its welfare at heart, and we want to continue that tradition. Today and this weekend we've got a chance to celebrate that and really have some camaraderie. Even though there's a lot of traditional supporters here, there's quite a lot of new faces, and they're here to find out more about what our organisation does and what our charter is, and they are fully supportive of us. It's not our country, it's your country, and we're just lucky enough to be the caretakers of it for our short part of time.
What the MCAV does is lobby and try and protect alpine grazing. We've lost a lot of areas, and at the moment we're really trying to get cattle back into the Alpine National Park because they were there since the 1840s, and our job is to promote that. This weekend has got it's a lovely weekend, a lot of fun and a lot of cultural activities and horse riding, but it's got a hard edge to it, and that hard edge is lobbying the MPs for the return of alpine grazing. There'll be probably 12 or 14 MPs here tomorrow, and there'll be speeches and some hard-edge stuff mixed up with a lot of fun activities.
Omeo is a town in Victoria, Australia, on the Great Alpine Road, east of Mount Hotham, in the Shire of East Gippsland. At the 2006 census, Omeo had a population of 452. The area was first visited by stockmen who drove stock through the region as early as 1835. In 1845, gold was found around Omeo, and in the 1860s, the gold rush reached its peak. So Jeff, I've been reading on some of the information plaques around town about the Oriental claims. Could you go into a bit more detail about what that's all about?
Well, you probably, like most other people, you think that the Oriental claims is 30 million Chinese running all around there with little baskets. Not the case. The case was the gold was discovered out there in alluvial gravels by French Canadians and some Aussies and Pommies, and they decided to form a company. And in those days, the world wasn't as big as it is now. So when you used the word Oriental, it meant you were worldwide. So they thought, we'll call ourselves the Oriental Gold Mining Company. Later on, 20, 30 years later, when they were doing the alluvial gold, the Chinese did come in. Quite a few of them. We had probably about 400 Chinese were in Omeo.
So back in 1894, when gold mining ceased in this area, what was left behind was a 300-acre hole, about 100 feet deep. And nearly 100 years after that, a gold mining company came back into the area and they conducted exploratory drilling. And then they discovered there was still around $20 million worth of gold in the ground. Now back then, gold was about $200 an ounce. Now 12 months after that again, an historical listing was placed in this area to protect this history for all future generations.
And when you think all the gold that ever came out of that whole area would fit in one truck, where did the rest of the dirt go? And that's what caused the problem. Because it's higher, the dirt washed in the water, came down to the middle of town here and sunk and raised the bed of the river up. All the pub cellars would fill up with water. The creek over here that got all the water away from the houses and toilets and goodness knows what else, plucked up. So they had no option but to form what they called the Sludge Abatement Board in 1894 and close the goldfields. There's still a heap of gold out there, but luckily for you and your grandchildren, it'll stay there. Otherwise, if we would have been short-sighted as the township of Omeo, a mining company would have come in here, we'd have a gravel pit.
Everybody likes a good meat pie, and the High Plains Bakery and Cafe make one of my favourites, being the Cattlemen's pie. Let's go and meet Heidi and find out a bit more about the bakery. So Heidi, how long has the High Plains Bakery been in Omeo for?
High Plains Bakery was built in 2004. I'm actually a 4th generation baker on my father's side, and our son's now 5th. He's just started with us last year. And on my mother's side, I'm 2nd generation, and on my husband's side, he's also 2nd generation as well. So we've been baking for a long time.
So where did it originate from?
Originally they're from Switzerland. Father moved out when he was 20 years of age, about 50 years ago, and started bakeries in Australia then.
So if this bakery's only been here since 2004, where did Omeo get its bread and bakery from back then?
Well, the last known bakery, to my knowledge, was in the 1970s when it closed down, when they were actually baking bread in the town. Since then, I believe they've been shipping it up from Bensdale way, and again, it wasn't until 2004 that they started getting fresh bread to the town again.
Now Heidi, I certainly like a good pie from a country bakery, and one in particular I like from your shop is the Cattlemen's.
Cattlemen's is our signature pie and very popular. It's a steak, cheese, bacon and an egg. It's an all-day pie, so it's like a big breakfast. The other varieties we have is we go into a lot of chunky varieties, so we've got chicken tandooris, we've got chunky peppers, farmers pies, plain pies, vegetable lines, and many more. I think we've got 25 lines all up, and that's probably enough for people to choose from, I would think.
So with the Cattlemen's gathering in the area for this weekend, have you had to stock up on extra supplies than what you'd normally have to stock up on?
Oh yes, definitely. We're expecting probably close between somewhere 7,000 to 8,000 people coming through the area, and we'll just shift a lot of pies, a lot of people coming through on the way out to the event, and of course they'll all head back again, which is great for Omeo.
So next time you're in Omeo, make sure you drop into the High Plains Bakery and Cafe, grab one of these fair dinkum meat pies. It's one of Heidi's specialties, the Cattlemen pie. They're absolutely magnificent, and I'm going to get into it.
Well, what can I say? A big warm welcome to all you people. It's a phenomenal turnout. It really is one of the big ones. I think we owe a great deal of gratitude to the Omeo branch because this is really professional. The thing that I notice more and more every get-together is the family groups and the children. They're everywhere. And for those detractors that say that we're a dying race, well, they should come out here and have a look. We aren't going anywhere soon.